Okay, so we're on return of the Grandstand handheld because the one attempt at getting the part for this socket is here. Now this is 2.1mm, which is more normal. That's 2.5. It's a tall order to get anything anywhere near that may possibly fit, and this is the right kind of shape. So we don't need this set on the test bench yet. I'm going to see if there's something we can do with those crystals, and I've brought the crystal tester across from Mr. Chippie's workbench. So if you remember, it was working on channel 39 reliably. Channel 2 sometimes received, all of them transmit and perfectly on frequency. It gives me the impression that lower quality crystals were used on receive. And the logic there is, well, they wouldn't have to be up to the same specification as the transmit crystals. Just remember, this is a very corroded set, not because it's got wet, but because it's been in a damp environment. So all we've got to do, hopefully, we're going to have to take the PT switch out, aren't we, again? Absolute pain in the what's it. Should be in the working on the organ, but it's raining and I really can't be bothered to walk across to the chapel 100 yards and get wet doing so. I'm not somebody who does coats. Right, we have to then pop two of the screws out. Remember when we did the scratchy corner test on 1 watt on the roof aerial here, we actually got very good range. And we got the full 6 miles. We're not testing it on batteries. It's entirely up to the customer to play with it on batteries. That's probably enough. So we can just, I'll use the cutters. I'll use some, not to blunt those. We'll use those pliers. Twist that metal back, and then it should release. I want to finish off one of the two sets. You know, we've had that PE Ranger for 9 months, and I've actually finally had some batteries come through that should be compatible. Try and get that finished off, and you remember that's only half a watt and we managed 6 miles on it. Just push that out. It just looks, this socket looks so much bigger, and I'm not sure we're going to be anywhere near. No, we're not going to be anywhere near. We're not. You can see the size of this is much wider. Now, had this been my own set, to be honest, I would be filing out the chassis to accept this. No, so we're going to have to go for a different plan, and that's going to see if Mr. Chippie is going to be able to dismantle what we have. So that was a waste of ordering from Taiwan. I'll just get a scrap of paper. We'll get on with the second thing with this, which is the final crystal thing, whatever we can do. So I just want to take this out. So we've got It's negative inner, which is ridiculous. Right, I'm not going to take that out, but I'll get Mr. Chippie to do that. Crystals, right. And I've already forgotten which is... I think I've put an A on that one. So, we have... It came in Taiwan... it came in AliExpress kit form, one of these crystal activity testers, and I don't know if I've got anything which does USB. I have up there, but not down here. Well, Mr. Chippie's got one of those power bank things, so we'll use that. So first of all, I'll take the first crystal out, which is the channel 2 one, which is a bit iffy, shall we say. So 27 because these are so corroded it's difficult to see what they say on them. 27,52625. So I'll go and get a calculator, I'll go and get a power bank. So first of all, because you've got to take the IF into consideration on receive, so it is 27.52625 minus, no, it's plus 0.455. So that's channel 39. So I've got these in the wrong order already. Right, so we'll put that one back because that's the only working crystal. So the next one, so that's channel D, which is 39. So channel C, whatever it is I'll have to look at the back, won't I? Did it tell you on the back? Oh, I think it's guest time. I can't read that. So we'll have to find out to work backwards. If I've got the paperwork on my clipboard still, here's some notes. So if I'd have looked at that, we'd have known. I'll just put the clip. There it is. Channel C is 21, and I think we've got that as 27,80125. Channel B is 14, and that should be 27. 73125, and channel 4, or channel A, which is 2, is 27,61125. So if we work this backwards, because we can't read what it says, we can see 27 something something 625. 27 something something 625. Could be something 4. So now we'll work this one backwards. So 27.80125 minus 0.455 equals 27.34625. So trying to make that out of there. I said there was a 3, it looked like a 3. Alright, so let's see what it's on and whether it's oscillating at all. Now, I've got this crystal tester. It runs on 5 volts. I've got Mr. Chippie's power bank here. All these power banks, they shut down when they don't see much current consumption, and this one is no exception. So this is absolutely ridiculous. Some of these need an override button because you can't use them. I wanted to run our Whisper unit. It's a ham radio 200 milliwatt transmitter. It's for testing aerials. Wanted to leave it on overnight, but of course it shuts down after 3 minutes. Absolutely stupid. So we power it up and we put the crystal on the test pin. And it's doing absolutely nothing. Let's go back to the one which we know works. Well, that wasn't ideal, was it? Now we've shut down. I don't even know how to power it back up. $917.68. It's doing a third, isn't it? Oh, 27.525 it says. Anyway, at least we can see there's activity there. Whereas on this one we can see there is no activity. There's a trick, and it sometimes works temporarily, it sometimes works permanently. And this is the last chance saloon of this crystal. I'm just going to scrape the top. Otherwise, if he wants us to work, it's £35 a crystal from Belgium, and that just is ridiculous. Just going to try and get a bit of... there should be a file on this bench, but as you can imagine, there isn't. This, this can get you out of the situation in all kinds of things with crystals. It could be television sets, it can be watches, all kinds of stuff. What we're going to do is we're going to apply solder to it and make it hot. And it could wake up its activity. There. And that has been hot enough for that solder to, despite the corrosion, have actually done something. And of course it's red hot to touch. So I'll try and pick that up. See whether it's got any activity now. And I would say no. So I would say that's as dead as they come. So the next one is the same scenario. So let's do the maths first. So on this one, I think we can read. Can we read something? It looks to me like 27,27625. Let's get the maths on that. 27625 plus 0.455. No, it's not. So we'll work it backwards. 27,73125 minus 0.455 should be 27,27625. Well, that's what it is. I must have put the numbers in wrongly. So that's what it should come up as. So once again, we'll plug this back in to reactivate the power bank. No activity from it. Once again, we'll heat it up. First of all, scrape a bit of the corrosion off the top. These are supposed to be sealed, and if air gets in there, it can also accelerate its demise. Should have warmed it up. Feels pretty warm to me. Right, we'll power this device back up again. I can't see any activity on that. And then finally we've got channel 2, which sometimes worked for me, which is the A position. So that is working. I'm going to give this the same treatment. Scrape it first and hope it's less intermittent. Obviously these have to cool down before the frequency can be trimmed, but on this radio there is no frequency trimming on receive. So it worked before. Today. Let's see whether it works now. 2715 something. 27155 it says. Of course I should have taken the thingy down first, shouldn't I? 27155, and it should say on it 2715625. Just do the maths. 27.61125 minus 0.455, 27.15625. It's about there. So that's working. So it might work on 2 channels. It might not, but that's a crystal activity tester, which is a useful thing to have when you want to look at things like 10.24 crystals you've just taken out of a scrap set. These wires fit into those pins nice. They will just power this back up. 10.24. It's a useful thing to have. I think it was £8.99 in kit form. Good. Well, that's as far as we can get with that till Mr. Chippie arrives here. He may be able to take that apart and put it back together. Otherwise, all we can do, what I did do in the meantime, I don't know whether you spotted, I actually got a plug that fitted, because it's long reach and it's 2.5mm. That took some tracking down, but I did find a plug that would fit. So that's another thing, if you can get that to work, because what you can sometimes do is totally dismantle these kind of things and then put them back together. I can't do that. So we'll leave it for now and we'll come back to it. Right, back to this, quite a number of hours later, and Mr. Chippie has strengthened up. He's unable to dismantle as it's riveted together. So I've made up a power lead for our final test. We know that we can power it from here, because that's what we were previously doing. We need to just prove that once again. We put the crystals back in, and it'd be nice if it worked on channel 2 as well as 39. And then we've just got to put the aerial in and set the, because I twiddled it, didn't I, the coil, loading coil. Right, power supply on, 12 volts selected. Switch on, and we're on. Connect the test gear up, so I want the RCA adapter. Okay, so we've got the adapter in and it's transmitting on all 4 channels. I'm not going to set the signal generator, we don't need to do that. But I'll use this walkie-talkie with the battery as flat as a pancake. We'll start with channel 39, which was the one we know works. That's position D. So I'll just put 39 into this. It doesn't scroll up, does it? Testing 1 2, testing 1 2. Are we actually still on? It was on wrong one. Right. Testing 1 2, testing 1 2 3 4 5 5 4 3 2 1. So that's that. So next channel, which isn't going to work, is channel 14. Testing 1 2, testing 1 2, 1 2. Nope. Next channel down. Yeah, I don't know what I'm doing today. 39, it's 21 next. Testing 1, 2, testing 1, 2. No, it doesn't work, which is what we expect because we had no crystal activity. Channel 14 is channel B. Nothing. Transmit's alright. Just put the volume up. And then channel 2, we saw some activity, but it's a bit intermittent on the radio when we had it before. Let's see if it works or not work. Testing 1, 2, testing 1, 2, testing 1, 2, testing 1, 2. Have I knocked the crocodile clips off? Okay, so we've got no power now. Okay, back to the recording and restored power. So we've got transmit, have we got receive? And the answer is no. But we did have crystal activity, didn't we? So it might work sometimes like it did previously for us. So you try your best on these kind of things. We clean that dramatically, if you remember. I'll put the signal generator on that frequency, just see whether we can do better. So 61125. Let's put the other camera on so you can see what I'm doing with the signal generator. I think we've got enough bits to do that thing that's been in for 9 months, the PE Ranger, if I didn't say that before. Try and clear some of these stragglers up. 61125. Got a Midland 2001. We've got a B40 DNT base station. Right, so if we're going to transmit on this, we'll set to transmit 2761124, which is perfect, just like I set it before. So put the signal generator on. So we had crystal activity because the thing said so. So why haven't we got... I know it was intermittent, but I was hoping we'd overcome the intermittency. Ah. Aha. But it would be nice for this to work on 2 channels. Looks like there's still holder issues on this. Now we know there aren't holder issues on the other 2 crystals because there was no activity. So we'll just see if we can yet again have a go at cleaning this. And the holder. And just try and put a precision screwdriver just to try and... My finger's good crystal, isn't it? Just try and close those up a bit. See whether that helps. Right, well, we'll just talk to Mr. Chippie on this.
Tango 21, Chippie.
Hello, Tango 21, testing this from the bench.
Yeah, roger that. A little bit quiet, but then again it is a handheld.
And it does use the speaker as a microphone, and it is set correctly. Just for a laugh, we'll go to channel 2, where you'll hear me, but I won't hear you.
Roger.
Tango 21, talking on channel 2. Back to 39.
Tango 21.
I expect you heard me?
Yeah, roger that.
Yeah, it transmits on all channels, but all the crystals are knackered. And this one's not exactly on frequency, but it's we did the 6 miles on it last week, so there we go.
Yep, roger that.
Right, I'm just going to run it through the extension power socket, which you've just improved over. Right, here goes. Negative center. And we're not making contact through that. So still not the right one, is it? Let's check this power on it. There is. So after all that work, we can't get an input on the socket, so don't tell me it's not even 2.5mm. Let's just go back to the battery terminal at the top, make sure the radio still works. Final test.
Yeah, roger, go ahead.
Okay, Roger, that's fine.
Roger.
Okay, that's it. Well, we'll put the lids back on and I'll just do that aerial setup with you. All I can say is this is better than it being a static display. Okay, so the next snag, so you didn't notice this when I took it apart, there's an insulator missing. So you've got the rod, a plastic insulator. This is D-shaped on this side and grooved on the aerial side and fits into the metal bracket. And then we've got the solder tag, but there has to be an insulator because otherwise you'd be shorting the aerial to ground because that tag's ground. So we're going to have to find something, probably off a BNC plug or something, to use as an insulator. Oh, or even a transistor insulating kit might do. I'll go looking. So what I've done is to cut down a TO3 transistor insulator, cut the shoulder off it. So now when we go through there, we're not going to have a short circuit with any luck. That's about as tight as we dare go. So with the meter, The last thing we want to do is short out the transmitter, which is how it was connected before. So we'll put it to continuity. So between aerial, I'll do it to the tip, and the wire I've soldered on. You see we've got continuity. Between there and chassis, no continuity, which is exactly how we want it. This isn't supposed to be floating in there. I don't think it's going to be coming to any harm because it's an insulating sleeve on the aerial. There's supposed to be a pillar which has gone through the printed circuit, so we're screwing from the back side of the printed circuit, and there's a hole in the board for the pillar to come through. It's something you could restore. You could order a pillar in and do that. I mean, this has been given up on, hasn't it, in the past, a very long time ago. So we know this works because there's nothing to really fail, and we've checked every part of it. So when he puts batteries in it, it will just make that contact there. We know that this side is positive. Obviously nobody wants to be getting that wrong. So once again we'll have to power it up this way. So we couldn't get our 2.5mm plug to work with it. So there we go. So what I want to just do is the final is we're going to pull up the air. We're going to just set the aerial loading coil. Trouble is it's overbalancing over the bench. I'll borrow my remote. Might just be enough weight. There we go. So I need a field strength meter. We have a field strength meter. Take that, get rid of that. Way! So field strength meter. Let's put a croc clip on it. It's one that's come in a box of stuff over the years, or been given to me. It's lost its aerial years ago. We'll just dangle that somewhere, and we'll go into transmit. And then with the, is that in view? Yes it is. So with the trimmer, which is down there, I don't want to melt that wire. There we go. And that's maximum. There we go. So that's set that. So I can go back to the customer, and he's got a slightly more working set, but awful lot of work. We're only going to be charging a token fee, and my recommendation to him is to buy another set. I'm sure it's very nice to have. I mean, I've got one of these because I've shown it before. And obviously it's nice to have these things, but at least it isn't just a dummy sat there, and it will work on channel 39. And there may be the odd day it works on channel 2, but I think the crystal's intermittent at the connector end internally. And I said before, this is supposed to be sealed. I don't like that floating around, but floating around it does. So when he pops batteries in that, it should burst into life. At least it's a nifty little battery holder, isn't it? There's another possibility, you know. It's just struck me. I'm just going to do this again. It may be that it doesn't power up through the charge socket. It may just charge through the charge socket. Never thought of that, did I, Mr. 21? Let's just check. So once again, we'll apply power to the lead I've made, and we know it doesn't power up. But does power appear here? Yes, it does. Why is that the wrong way round? Don't tell me that this I've been harping on about its negative centre and it isn't. It is not negative centre, it's positive centre. So ignore throughout the video where I say it's negative centre, don't get that wrong. So it's solely a charge socket. You can't power up from the radio. You can't power the radio up from the socket. And I'll now need to rework that, the other polarity. I'll take it apart and leave it on this bench so I know exactly why it's there. So just to make sure that it is returned, the spring in the charge socket is returned to normal. Yeah, it still powers up. So it obviously has issues. It's got crystals knackered, and there we go. As I say, it's better than not having it working at all. Fancy not putting positive centre on that, and the realistic's the same. It doesn't say whether it's positive or negative centre, and that can be the demise of the audio ICs on those. So there you go. That's the return of the relook at the Grandstand, just to finish it off. What a pile of things I've had to do. Thanks for watching.